Imagine a world where your only mode of self-propulsion is to move backwards relative to your current orientation. This isn't merely walking in reverse, it means every single muscle contraction intended for locomotion only propels you away from the direction you are facing. To move left, you would face right and push yourself backwards. To move right, you face left and push backwards. Navigating a straight line would demand constant micro-adjustments, a perpetual series of side-to-side glances over your shoulder to ensure you aren't veering off course. Imagine crossing a busy street. You would turn your back to oncoming traffic, relying entirely on peripheral vision and a constant craning of your neck. The very act of turning would become an intricate dance. If you want to turn around 180 degrees, you'd effectively have to walk in a backward arc until you faced your desired new direction. This fundamental shift in locomotion instantly redefines our interaction with static objects, like walls or doorways, which suddenly become potential obstacles you approach blind. Basic object manipulation would transform entirely. Consider picking up a dropped coin. You cannot simply bend forward and grab it. Instead, you must reverse maneuver your body over the coin, reaching down while your legs propel you further away from it, creating a constant struggle against your own movement. Opening a door presents a similar paradox. Pushing a door open means positioning your back to it, applying force, and then being pushed backward into the room you just opened. Pulling a door means facing it, but still moving backwards, effectively pulling yourself through the doorframe. Eating becomes an exercise in precision. Bringing a fork to your mouth involves a reverse arm motion, guiding food towards you while your body tries to move away. Would we develop new eating postures, perhaps leaning against a wall to stabilize ourselves while our arms perform their inverted tasks? Even sitting down would require a careful backward approach, guiding yourself into a chair, not seeing the seat until you're already making contact. Our sensory perception, primarily designed for forward navigation, would undergo profound remapping. Imagine walking through a forest, your back to the path ahead, eyes constantly darting sideways and over your shoulder to avoid trees. Peripheral vision would become paramount, evolving to compensate for the constant forward blind spot. Sounds would take on new significance, as auditory cues might alert you to obstacles or approaching entities that your primary vision cannot immediately confirm. The concept of ahead would shift from a physical direction to a cognitive construct, something you aim towards by moving away from it. Our brains, incredibly plastic, would likely create new neural pathways, perhaps prioritizing rear-facing information and integrating it with spatial memory in novel ways. This continuous reorientation would likely lead to a perpetual sense of disorientation for those unaccustomed, or perhaps a hyper-awareness for those who've adapted, turning every mundane journey into an intricate dance of calculated retro movement. The entire built environment, meticulously designed for forward-moving bipedalism, would become an adversarial landscape. Staircases, for instance, are designed for ascending forwards, placing one foot above the other. Moving up them backward would mean constantly looking down at the step you've just left, while blindly feeling for the next one with your heel. Escalators and moving walkways, normally effortless, would demand extraordinary coordination. You would stand facing the direction you came from, being carried into the unknown ahead. Driving a car, if even possible, would require a complete re-engineering of controls. The steering wheel and pedals, intended for forward-facing use, would need to be accessible from a backward-facing seat, perhaps with mirrored controls and rear-view displays becoming the primary interface. Imagine architecture itself adapting. Doors opening inward would suddenly become less problematic for backward entry, but exiting would be a challenge. Public spaces would feature more convex mirrors and perhaps tactile guiding strips to aid navigation for people who cannot see where they are heading. Even something as simple as a queue would be perplexing. People would line up facing away from the service point, progressing backward towards it. Social interactions would fundamentally alter. Greetings might involve elaborate backward bows or carefully choreographed sidesteps to avoid collision, as approaching someone head-on is impossible without turning your back. Dance would be redefined, perhaps favoring symmetrical movements or forms that allow for constant visual awareness of one's surroundings while still progressing backward. Sports, particularly those involving pursuit or aiming, would be unrecognizable. A game of football would look like a chaotic ballet of defensive backpedaling, with goals achieved through indirect, reverse trajectories. The very concept of looking forward to an event would gain an additional layer of irony, as all physical movement is oriented away from the future. Our cognitive understanding of cause and effect, normally linked to forward progression, might subtly shift. While time itself flows linearly, our constant physical retreat could imbue a subconscious feeling of experiencing the world as if it's already happened, constantly pulling away from the unfolding present. This unique condition could cultivate an unparalleled sense of self-reliance, as individuals must constantly navigate a world not built for them, developing an almost preternatural awareness of their surroundings through a blend of memory, sound, and peripheral sight.